Well, welcome to Christian Answers. This is Pastor Jeff Short. Glad to have you along for another episode of our program. Today, we are going to explore a topic that this is not gossip. At first, I wanted to cover this in the news topic from a biblical Christian worldview. And then I thought about it and I thought, well, no, that's more like Hollywood gossip. But then after a few days, I began to reflect on it and I thought, no, this is a really good example of a Christian in Hollywood, which is an oddity in itself, but a Christian in Hollywood actually standing up and with conviction saying, I don't like the way Hollywood is going. I don't like the way television is going. I don't like the way the network that I work for is going. And so I'm going to do something else and start another network producing family content instead of the LGBTQ content that is now seeping into all of Hollywood. Well, you have a Hollywood star, Candace Cameron Bure, I believe that's the way you pronounce her last name. She is now reacting to some news of some of her fellow actors and actresses commenting negatively of her leaving her Hallmark Channel job that she's held for many, many years. She starred in many, many Hallmark movies, which I've never seen any of them, but she is a big actress in the Hallmark universe. And it seems like every year or so they come out with a new Christmas program, which Candace Cameron Bure is part of the cast. So she is a very familiar face among Hallmark Channel viewers and Hallmark movie viewers. And so she has been a beloved actress on that network for many, many years, probably decades, and produced many, many movies, especially Christmas movies from a really family-oriented viewpoint. Well, what the news is there is Hallmark now is shifting and is beginning to incorporate, I guess, gay couples in their Christmas marriage or Christmas programming and movie programming starring gay couples in these romantic comedies or lighthearted Christmas romance movies on Hallmark. And they're trying to get the public to go along with this. And this Candace Cameron Bure, who is also the sister of Kirk Cameron, who starred in Full House. I think Candace Cameron Bure starred in Full House also, or was a part of that. So she's been on television for decades and decades, since she was very, very young. And she has decided that she's not going to go along with that. Hallmark is changing. They're departing from the Judeo-Christian perspective on marriage. And so she's going to leave and start her own production company and produce movies that continue on in the traditional or Judeo-Christian marriage genre. And she's receiving backlash from some of the actresses and actors who have been a part of the Hallmark Channel. And a lot of what they're saying is very, very strong against Candace Cameron Bure. And so this headline is that Candace Cameron Bure calls backlash for traditional marriage comments attempts to assassinate her character. So we're going to look at the article here in Yahoo News and talk about this because This is an example of a Christian standing up in Hollywood. Now, you could also ask the question, what are you doing in Hollywood? Because there are all kinds of other things you could be doing. Why are you investing in Hollywood? Well, that's something that she chose to do. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I would want to do it, put up with that. But she did for many, many years and decades, and now she's leaving. It says Full House alums comment about how the Great American Family Network will keep traditional marriage at the core of its storytelling has sparked backlash from celebrities and LGBTQ advocates. So that was all she said. She said that she is going to be now working with a network called the Great American Family Network, and they will keep traditional marriage at the core. Okay, so she didn't say anything against LGBTQ. She didn't say anything at all about LGBTQ people, so-called the gay community or whatever you want to call it. She just said, I'm going to be working with a network that upholds traditional family values. And that was enough to spark the LGBTQ so-called community in outrage and their allies in outrage. Now, this really underscores and gives a fine example of how the LGBTQ movement wasn't all about just doing their own thing and going off and doing what they wanted to do and how it wouldn't affect anybody else. No, they're way beyond that now. They not only want to do their own thing, but they want you, whatever your views are, they want you to celebrate and affirm what they're doing. So they won't be happy until you're celebrating what they're doing. Because for a long time, the LGBTQ so-called community, and that's an oxymoron because you don't have communities of sin. You don't have the pedophile community. You don't have the bestiality community. You don't have the rapist community or adulterous community or the fornicating community. But all of a sudden, now we're supposed to call the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and on community a community. So that is an oxymoron in and of itself. But be that as it may, they said for the longest time before the Obergefell decision in 2015, they said, well, all we want to do is just be able to do our thing in the privacy of our bedroom or whatever they do. And that was a lie because they not only want to do their thing, they want you to like what they're doing and celebrate what they're doing. And if you don't celebrate and affirm and congratulate them in their doing whatever they're doing, they will cancel you. They will destroy you. They will come after you. And they are so full of hate. This group has more hate than any so-called hate group that we read about in the papers today. But let's go on with the article. It says, Candace Cameron Bure is defending herself after she was criticized on multiple fronts for saying that she ditched Hallmark to partner with faith-based network Great American Family because it promises to keep traditional marriage between a man and a woman at the core. So here's a Christian, a Bible-believing evangelical Christian, who wants to move in a direction that she's comfortable with, and that is she wants to affirm and encourage traditional marriage between a man and a woman. She does not want to be a part of a company and a network, and she does not want to work at a place that is pushing gay marriage and gay relationships because that is against her strongly held beliefs, which are religiously based, Christianity, and that's our right in the United States to do that. And it seems like the LGBTQ community doesn't like it when someone chooses of their own free will to move in a direction that does not, quote, honor them. So we go on with the article. I would like to address my comments on the Great American Families programming as reported in the Wall Street Journal. She wrote Wednesday on social media. All of you know beyond question that I have great love and affection for all people. It would absolutely break my heart that anyone would ever think I intentionally would want to offend or hurt anyone. It saddened me that the media is often seeking to divide us, even around a subject as comforting and merry as Christmas movies. But given that toxic climate in our culture right now, I shouldn't be surprised we need Christmas more than ever. Okay, so she's absolutely right. This is a whole media creation. This is a creation of the LGBTQ lobby and the media and their allies in the media, the mainstream media. They are seizing upon the fact that she would rather work with a company that upholds the traditional marriage than to promote so-called gay marriage and gay relationships. And that bugs them to no end. So they're going to try to assassinate her character and basically cancel her. This is what cancel culture is called. They have this fake outrage. This is not anything that they should be concerned about. In fact, they should say, well, good. If she doesn't want to be on board with the LGBTQ revolution, good riddance to her. Have at it with this other network, because it's going to be a lot smaller than Hallmark is. Hallmark is a huge network viewed by millions of people, especially around Christmas time for their movies. And they should say, fine, let her leave. Good luck in your new venture. But no, they want everyone, including this woman, this actress, to be on board with what they're doing. And if she's not, then they're going to come after her and attack her. These people are vicious, and they will cancel her. They will destroy her. They will ruin her. They will try to drive her into bankruptcy. They will tarnish her reputation. They will do everything they can because they hate someone not buying into their sin, which is what all of those acronyms stand for. Some kind of sin that is forbidden by Scripture and that God frowns upon and has already said many, many times in the Bible that this is sin. So we go on with the article. Characterizing herself as a devout Christian, the actress said her comments were filtered through her religious beliefs. Obviously, she's been well known as a outspoken Christian. I saw an article or an interview with her. Her brother was interviewing her on the Trinity Broadcasting Network just maybe a year or two ago. And she was very outspoken about how she loves Jesus and wants to live for him. And so it's makes perfect sense. And it's perfectly consistent that she would want to move in a different direction, because Hallmark is now evidently moving in a different direction. Hallmark was once this family-friendly, sort of bland. I felt, I never watched the movies because they seem a little bit too vanilla, bland, but it was always a romantic storyline, and especially around Christmas time, always between a man and a woman. But now they're going to try to be inclusive and incorporate gay relationships, and Candace Bure does not want to be a part of that. Well, it makes perfectly good sense. She has every right to make choices based on her faith. It says here in the article, to the members of the media responsible for using this opportunity to fan flames of conflict and hate, I have a simple message. I love you anyway. To those who hate what I value and who are attacking me online, I love you. To those who tried to assassinate my character, I love you. To everyone reading this, of any race, creed, sexuality, or political party, including those who have tried to bully me with name-calling, I love you. And in the sole motivation of pure love, I hope you'll join me in sharing God's hope for all the world this Christmas season. Call that my Christmas wish. So she's trying to do what the Bible says, love those who hate you and turn the other cheek. And she's trying to put into practice actually what Jesus was saying in the Sermon on the Mount. So good for her for trying to do that. A lot of other people would not have been so generous with their words for people who are trying to destroy her, but she is taking the high ground, no question. The Full House alum, 46, had a long-running relationship making holiday movies for Hallmark, but left ahead of it releasing its first gay-led holiday film. good for her. I'm glad she left because she drew a line in the sand. She said, wait, I've always worked for Hallmark, but now they've gone too far. I'm not going to be at a network that promotes so-called gay relationships at Christmas. They're trying to normalize homosexuality. They're trying to normalize a sin that the Bible explicitly says is wrong, goes against God, against the Old Testament, against the New Testament. Jesus said a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So very clearly, heterosexual marriage is the only marriage. Jesus taught that. Christianity has continued to teach that for 2,000 years. And so this is a break not only from Hallmark's traditional programming, but it's a really radical break from the Judeo-Christian moral values. And most people in this country still affirm Christianity as their religion, so I don't think they're going to succeed. Hallmark is going to succeed in making this really sick and twisted change in their programming, and all the ideological posturing and fake outrage is not going to change one fact that people, I don't believe, care or want to watch some gay relationship around Christmas time. It's just not something that is on the agenda for the vast, vast majority of people, especially Christians, which make up a big audience for Hallmark. Here she said in the article, she made her controversial comments in a Wall Street Journal story. It shouldn't have been controversial, but the media made it controversial. Story published Monday while promoting her upcoming Christmas movie on the Great American Family. So she's got a new movie coming out. That will probably do better than all of these gay-related themes around Christmas time on the Hallmark Channel. She says, my heart wants to tell stories that have more meaning and purpose and depth behind them, said Bure, who also named the chief creative officer at the company. I knew that the people behind Great American Family were Christians that loved the Lord and wanted to promote faith programming and good family entertainment. That's right. You don't set your child and your teenage daughters and any children in your family down and watch a gay-related holiday movie. No, that's a contradiction. Jonathan Bennett, who stars in the Hollywood Hallmark movie The Holiday Sitter, featuring the same-sex romance, is one of the celebrities and LGBTQ advocates speaking out. Okay, so the actor who is going to be in Hallmark's first same-sex so-called romance is speaking out against it. Well, okay, so that makes sense because he's a ideologue and he's part of the LGBTQ so-called community. He says, I'm just proud to be part of Hallmark Channel that is doing so much inclusive programming like The Holiday Sitter. Yeah, and we need to pray that that movie bombs, fails miserably so that the network will go, wait, we don't want to produce these because nobody likes them. It says, which is LGBTQ-led Christmas movie. The Mean Girls actor who married James Vaughn, whatever, earlier this year told E! News on Tuesday, I'm just so proud to be on Hallmark Channel that's making these movies for everyone. No, they're making them for the LGBTQ people, not anyone else, because nobody else wants to sit through there and see two men kissing or cuddling or doing whatever else they do. Nobody wants to see that, except maybe a few people who are part of the LGBTQ community and who have an agenda to push on the American people. Those are the only people that want to see it. He says, because Christmas is for everyone and Hallmark channels are for everyone. Everyone? Really? How about the Christmas in a polygamous home with 5 wives and a husband? You want Hallmark to do that? How about Christmas in a bestiality home where you have animal relationships, and you want Hallmark to do that? Christmas is for everyone. How about pedophile family, so-called pedophile marriage? Do you want that? Well, you just said Christmas for everyone. Hallmark channels are for everyone. Well, no, you don't actually mean that. You just mean everyone that would include you. But then you want to draw the line there. No, I'm sorry. When you go off God's will and you go off the path of righteousness, then you are off the path. And you can't judge other people who are off the path. So there are all kinds of deviant sexual perversions out there in society that now you would say, well, we wouldn't want that on Hallmark. But why? Why not? What would be the logic in keeping them off Hallmark, starring in movies, showing them in relationships, in these odd and twisted relationships? Because what you are in, this actor, is an odd and twisted and immoral relationship. But you want to draw the line with yours. That's right. He added the film has so much heart and humor and predicts audience will love it. Sure. But as we've seen from the Disney network, they produced a movie called, what was it, Bros, I guess. That was a phenomenal bomb at the box office because nobody wanted to go see some gay guy relationship with another gay guy. It's just not compelling. Nobody likes it. It goes against the instinctual male-female differences, and especially those who are Christians would not want to go see that because it goes against their very moral values. So, yeah, this is going to bomb too. And Hallmark is probably going to limit the number of these so-called LGBTQ relationships because people just don't want to see that garbage. The Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation has issued a statement about Beret's irresponsible same-sex marriage comments. Irresponsible comments. All she said was she's going to be leaving Hallmark and going with a pro-family network making pro-family traditional value marriage movies. That's it. That's all she did. And those are the irresponsible comments? Yeah, people are being way too sensitive right here. It's irresponsible and hurtful for Candace Cameron Bure to use tradition as a guise for exclusion. Well, here we come to this thing called tradition. As Christians, we don't call a man and a woman married. We don't call that traditional marriage as much as our opponents do. They call that traditional marriage. We just call it marriage because that's the only thing marriage is. That's the only definition marriage is. This other thing, this male or female, or any other configuration that is being pushed by the LGBT lobby group, that isn't marriage. It is not marriage. We deny that that is actual marriage. Now, you can put the word marriage to it, and that's what the Supreme Court did in 2015 in Bergefell, but that doesn't make it marriage. That just redefines a legal statute on the books in the United States. And you can call it whatever you want, but it is not marriage. Marriage can only ever be between a man and a woman. And so this use of calling heterosexual marriage traditional, that's what they call it. And we have, I guess, adopted what they call it just in order to communicate. But really, all we should really be saying is not traditional marriage. Marriage itself, in its very definition, is male and female. Anything else is not marriage. I'd love to have a conversation with Bure about my wife, our kids, and our family's traditions. Bure is out of sync with the growing majority of people of faith, including LGBTQ people of faith who know that LGBTQ couples and families are deserving of love and visibility. No, they're not deserving of love and visibility if you want to change the definition of marriage and pervert it and distort it and twist it. They deserve to be rebuked for doing such an irresponsible thing. Okay, so you have all of these tweets, of course, on Twitter. People are tweeting. Alice called Bure's comments harmful and insulting. Okay, that's the outrage mob. To the company's LGBTQ employees as well as employees with LGBTQ friends and family. Oh, well, too bad. Too bad that they're offended. You know, we have to stop worrying about what they call outrage because it's a fake outrage. And we just need to go ahead and live our lives. And, oh, well, if you're offended, you're offended. If GAF's plan is to intentionally exclude stories about LGBTQ couples, then actors and advertisers, cable and streaming platforms, and production companies should take note and seriously consider whether they want to be associated with the network that holds exclusion as one of its values. They just want to continue on with the Judeo-Christian understanding of marriage. And by the way, the understanding of marriage of every culture in history, known history. No, we don't want to go along with this new plan that sexual perverts have for marriage. No, we don't want to do that. So this actress has every right to do it. Hillary Burton, JoJo Siwa, and more criticized her words too. Burton of the One Tree Hill, whatever that is, fame, saw a headline with Beret's comments and called her a bigot. Okay, so now they're calling her names. Look at the hate that's coming her way. And they're the ones that are always saying, well, we don't like hateful speech. Well, now they're dishing it out. I don't remember Jesus liking hypocrites like candy. I don't remember Jesus liking hypocrites like candy. She's not a hypocrite. Candy is not a hypocrite because she's following the words of Jesus. See, these people use Jesus. They use terms like people of faith and Christian faith and all these things for their own propaganda, but they totally get it wrong as far as, okay, where does it say that Jesus was for the LGBTQ same-sex marriage? Where does it say that? It doesn't. But I can show you many, many passages where Jesus speaks about marriage as a man and a woman exclusively. Siwa then entered the conversation writing on Instagram, honestly, I can't believe after everything that went down just a few months ago that she would not only create a movie with the intention of excluding LGBTQIA plus whatever but then also talk about it in the press. This is rude and hurtful to a whole community of people. Nobody in that community is crying their eyes out at night because Candace Cameron Bure wants to join another network and make marriage movies with them. No, this is all fake outrage just to try to shame her and destroy her and retaliate against her. This is spite. This is spite. That's all it is. So as Christians, we need to be aware that there are people out there that not only are trying to destroy this Christian woman's life and make her toxic and basically blacklist her in Hollywood. They are trying to do that to anyone who doesn't buy into their sexual immorality. And so they will come at you with blazing guns. They will come at you if you cross them. They will come at you with everything they can, and they will try to destroy your life. So as Christians, we need to be aware that there are evil people out in the world. There are people who are trying to destroy not only traditional Christian, Judeo, simply marriage as marriage. They are doing it by shaming people who hold to the definition of marriage that has always been held to by every civilization on earth. They're trying to change everything, and then they're blaming you if you hold to it. So be aware of this. This is coming not just to Hollywood people, but this is coming to mainstream America. You may be targeted as a Christian. Be ready for it. We'll see you back next week. God bless.